Okay, so we have done the foot vital flexing, and now it's time for the client to turn over. So, just a little tip on how to have the client turn over and maintain their modesty is if you just hold the sheet here and here and make a tent like this, and then let's see if you would turn away from me, up towards the headrest, and just keep that tent over them. And that way, when you're doing this in class, and you maintain the student's modesty while they're turning over. And do you need anything under your feet?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, I'm going to work on the back now. And I like to keep my oil caps off while I'm doing the raindrop. And that just makes it easier. You can leave them on, and of course, you probably know how to take off your lids with one hand, but it just makes it easier if you just take your lids off, and you don't have to do it that way, but whatever's comfortable. And then we're going to take the sheet back here, and then I'm going to tuck the sheet in. Hopefully they've worn loose pants. If they've worn jeans or something like that, then I've already asked them to unbutton that top button so that we have a little more leeway here. And then as we slide the sheet back, remember some of our instructors in the past have called this, they say this is prime real estate right here. So we want to be able to get to it, but crack kills. So we're going to just roll the sheet back. And what I tell the students is just until you see a hint of shadow there, and that's far enough. You don't go any further than that, all right? So now we can get everything from the sacrum all the way up to the atlas here. And you see I've got the headrest tilted enough to eliminate any folding that might be in the back of the neck. There's just a little bit here, but that's not a big deal. And I always go with the client's comfort level though, so sometimes they may want that up a little bit. The reason you want to eliminate as much folding as you can in the back of the neck is because as you're brushing the oils up, they can accumulate here, and then they get in that crevice, and then they start to roll down the sides of their neck, and it can be uncomfortable for them. Okay, and I'm going to have the sheet, the sides of the sheet, just pulled up like this. If I'm doing this in a class especially, because again, that just helps maintain their modesty. So, especially if it's a woman. And we start with oregano. And it's going to be about 6 inches above the spine. And we're going to do 4 to 6 drops. So typically on adults, I'm going to do 6 drops. And I'm going to stop right about here in the middle of the shoulder blades here, or if you imagine where the bra line, the bra strap would be here. That's where you're going to stop. And then we're going to do the feathering up the spine, keeping your fingers more or less together rather than like this. And remember, this is not a finger drag like that. This is just the tip edge of the nail, and almost like you're raising goosebumps on them. And we're going to do our 3-inch strokes like this, and one hand right after the other, up to and just a little past the hairline, and then our second set of 3s. And notice how I'm layering these on top of one another and not moving one hand and then one hand and then one hand. It's layering them on top of each other, so you're actually feathering on top of your last feather. And then we're going to go to the 6-inch ones. And then we're going to do the 12s. Now, there's usually one side that's more comfortable for you to practice on than the other. As an instructor, it's good to get good at both sides. And so a lot of times I'm going to alternate sides, because sometimes in class, depending on how we have the room set up, and we have students on both sides of this watching. So I'll demo the techniques on both sides and take turns. So now we're doing our 12s. Okay. And then we're going to do our time. And the same thing. Sixes. And 12s. And then we move right in from there into the side-to-side, the side strokes. And so we're going to have our fingers together like this, meaning we're not doing it like this. And I'm going to start with my fingers meeting in the middle here, in the spine, and just the edge of the tip edge of the fingernail. So 3 in one spot, move up half of a hand's width, and 3 in this spot. Now, what I'm going to say on this is try to avoid, remember we're trying to maintain physical contact with the client as much as possible, but not at the expense of breaking the rhythm. And so instead of, I've seen some people do this because they want to maintain that physical contact. They'll go like that. Like that. Now, don't do that because that is not rhythmic, okay? So you're just millimeters away from them as your hands are coming up, so you're still in contact with them, even though it's not completely physical contact. So I'm going to say just go like this. And that's a much better rhythm for them, and it feels less jerky for them when you're doing this technique. So 3 in one spot, move up half of a hand's width in the next spot. Half of a hand's width, next spot. And go all the way up to the atlas, the base of the skull here. We do it 3 times. So go as far out, because this is pulling the oregano and the thyme out to all the vital organs in the body. So go out to the sides here as far as you can. Being aware where your hands are going when you, especially with a female, when you get up to this area here. So just go as far as is ethically possible, and then move up half of the hand's width. Okay, and after we've done that 3 times, I only did it twice just now, you understand the technique, then we're going to do the full length strokes, which begin like this. The backs of your hands are faced towards the back of their head, and we're just going to go up to the edge of the shoulders like that 3 times.